Hey, I'm Cliffhanger, and this is the movie New Order. A wealthy bride is kidnapped straight from her wedding in order to extract ransom money from her relatives. The film begins with a montage of scenes that at first glance seem weakly connected. The only important detail that unites them is the presence of green paint, smeared on people, windows, and even in the rainwater. In the next scene, an elderly man sits in a hospital beside his bedridden wife. Staff appear, clearing space and sending home patients who are not in critical condition. In their place, wounded people are carried into the wards. The hospital corridors fill with agitated people, some of whom are also smeared with green paint. The camera flies over bodies lying on the floor, marked with both paint and blood. Judging by their lifeless open eyes, they are all dead. In the distance, the sound of machine gun bursts crackles off screen. The action shifts to the wedding of Marianne and Alan. The newlyweds are congratulated by Daniel, the bride's brother, who gives a toast to their happiness. At the same time, new guests arrive at the mansion. They report that chaos is erupting in the streets, to the point that airport arrivals were nearly not allowed to leave. The parents of the bride and groom are worried about the absence of an important guest, a judge. The absence of such an influential person even makes them joke, half seriously, about postponing the celebration. The bride's mother hides a stack of gifted money envelopes in a safe in the bedroom. Afterwards, she heads to wash her hands, but notices the faucet running with green water. Alarmed, she calls her husband to show him. But when they return, the water is back to normal. Meanwhile, the servants drawn from the lower classes discuss the suit of one of the boys, Christian. His employers gave him the outfit for the wedding, but it's slightly too large for him. His mother, Marta, is ordered by her mistress to check the servant's belongings for green paint. Someone brought it into the party. More important guests arrive, among them Minister Victor. Practically as a wedding gift, he announces the approval of a construction permit, crucial for the bride's parents' business. Their talk about business is interrupted by the minister's young wife, and they go off to enjoy themselves. Another envelope is placed into the safe. The bride remarks that money is being made at her wedding. The gifts are just portions of the bribes her father routinely pays to the officials present. Another couple of guests arrive visibly unsettled. They explain that they were splashed with green paint on the way. The stained woman is quickly ushered away by the hostess to clean up, so as not to disturb the guests. But the incident does not go unnoticed. The minister's secretary points out that their car was covered in paint just a few blocks away. The security detail urgently advises leaving, and cars are pulled up. The minister, with his wife, children, and nannies, quietly departs. At this moment, Rolando, an elderly former employee, arrives at the door. He begs his former bosses for a loan to pay for his wife's surgery. The hostess gathers a bit of money from the men, promising to provide the rest tomorrow. Rolando greets Marianne, whom he raised as a girl. She, touched, asks her brother Daniel, who is busy doing drugs with the youth, to gather the remaining sum. But Daniel, after handing over a few thousand more, tries to shoo the old man away. Marianne sees this and begs him to stay until she gets more money from the safe, but her mother has already changed the code. Neither her father nor brother knows the new one. Saddened, Marianne pulls out her credit card, only to learn that Rolando has already left. She turns to Christian, the servant boy, asking him to show her the way to Rolando's house. While they leave, another important guest finally arrives at the mansion, the judge. She is in a rush, as she has another wedding to attend later that day, and must quickly carry out her ceremonial congratulations. But the hostess cannot find the bride and instructs Marta to track down her daughter. Marianne's car, meanwhile, is stopped by police. The streets are blocked due to mass unrest. They are forced to take side streets, listening to anxious reports on the radio. Back at the wedding, the lower classes begin to climb over the fence. Ordinary citizens, smeared with that terrifying paint, pour in. Despite all pleas, they open fire, unleashing years of pent-up class hatred and social division. Marianne's father is shot, and a bodyguard, himself from the lower class, turns his weapon on his employers. Guests are herded into rooms. The hostess is dragged to the safe, where servants are already seizing what their masters had hoarded. The underclass revels inside the mansion of the elite, while Marta warns her son and Marianne not to return. The armed intruders strip the rich of everything: money, clothes, jewelry. In the streets, cars are splashed with green paint, a symbol of spontaneous revolution. Christian offers to drive, since he knows the poorer districts better than the rich girl. He hides Marianne in the back seat to protect her. They eventually reach Rolando's home, where they hide the car in the garage. The old man asks his nephew why he brought the rich girl. Christian explains that she wanted to help get his wife to the hospital. Meanwhile, phones across the city go dead. Crowds spill into the streets, looting and setting fires through the night. Marianne is given a room upstairs to stay safe. On the radio, reports tell of the army trying to restore order, but with little success. Marta returns to the ransacked mansion, where looters have left behind corpses. By morning, ambulances reach the wedding house, carrying away the wounded. Marianne listens to news reports and longs to return home. Christian sets out to scout safe passage, but is caught by soldiers near the house. Learning that he is escorting a wealthy girl, the soldiers take Marianne with them, promising to return her home, but order the boy to stay behind. On the truck, soldiers confiscate her phone, earrings, and watch. The city is cooling after the riots. Streets are filled with barricades and corpses. Military checkpoints block roads. Occasional gunfire rings out. The army piles bodies into heaps. Marta makes it safely home, greeted by her son. Marianne is taken to a detention camp, where other wealthy hostages are kept. Soldiers paint numbers on their foreheads, interrogate them for names, addresses, relatives. To the military, they are nothing more than potential ransom payouts. Daniel, in the hospital, is approached by a funeral bureau representative to arrange funerals for his mother and wife. The news continues to cover the unrest. Daniel and Alan approach Minister Victor for help finding Marianne. He forbids them to go to the press and assigns their case to General Uribe, the army commander. In the camp, soldiers rape the hostages. Marianne too becomes a victim, while her family holds funerals. Authorities impose curfew. Civilians are allowed to go to work and return home only in the morning and evening hours. Hospitals for the poor are closed, while elite clinics remain open, where Daniel and Marianne's wounded father is transferred. At home, the minister visits, promising to find the missing daughter. We learn that a month has already passed since her disappearance. Desperate for servants, the family even forces the caretaker of the householder to clean. Meanwhile, hostages are made to record video pleas to their families, begging them to pay the ransom. One night, Rolando leaves home to find a doctor for his wife. But as soon as he approaches a checkpoint, soldiers shoot him dead with a single bullet. His wife, never treated, dies soon after. Christian attends their funeral the next day. Daniel receives a call from the kidnappers with a recording of his sister's voice. They demand 10 million pesos. The soldiers wash the hostages to keep them marketable while discussing how to divide the ransom money. But disagreements rise. Each tries to cheat the other. Dissatisfied soldiers return to Christian's house, demanding an immediate 800,000 pesos as a down payment. To reach Marianne's family, Christian and Marta must slip past blockades. Daniel and Alan show a video of the tortured prisoners to General Uribe, who claims it's enough to track the culprits. Christian finally reaches Marianne's family home, explaining the ransom demand. Daniel, after consulting his father, allocates the money without informing the minister or general. Marianne, meanwhile, sees another hostage released after his ransom is paid, but immediately hears a gunshot, hinting that freedom never came. That evening, Christian and Marta smuggle the money under their clothes. Soldiers, however, betray them. The payment is just a deposit. Tomorrow, they demand another 1,000,000 pesos. When Daniel and his father hear this, they conclude that the servants are in league with the kidnappers. They accuse Marta and Christian of plotting with the criminals. They turn to Minister Victor, who sends General Uribe's special unit. Soldiers wait in Marta's house as Christian lures the kidnappers inside. They are captured, unmasked, and taken to the camp. Marianne is freed among dozens of hostages. Outside, the captured soldiers kneel, weeping in despair as they realize their fate. As Marianne is led past them, gunshots ring out. The soldiers are executed one by one. Their bodies are doused with gasoline and burned, covering up the army's crimes. Marianne, wiping the number from her forehead, is brought to Christian's house. Inside, the boy sits waiting. Suddenly, a muffled gunshot is heard. A commando enters, handing Christian a pistol, then leads him away. Christian glimpses Marianne's corpse in the bathroom before being shot in the head himself. In the final scene, Minister Victor calls Daniel. The boy is taken to Christian's home, where General Uribe is present. Together with the minister and Marianne's father, they witness the execution of several prisoners, among them Marta, accused of kidnapping and murder. Her execution serves to cover up the crimes of the Mexican army during the riots, protecting the higher authorities from exposure. The film ends to the sound of a triumphant military march. If you want to see more videos like this, leave a like and subscribe. That helps my channel a lot. See you.